Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Health Guide on Global Television, your hub for topical discussions on health matters. Today, we'll be diving into a topic that affects us all in general, that's our health, particularly in a world that's becoming increasingly fast-paced. Finding ways to live a balanced, healthy lifestyle can be challenging. However, it is essential to our physical and mental as well as emotional well-being. We'll explore building a healthy lifestyle, living healthy, and then look at the strategies that we need to adopt and also to maintain a sustainable lifestyle. Whether you're just starting your journey, your health journey, or looking to stay consistent in your efforts, our discussion will provide you with practical steps and insights to make lasting changes. I'm not alone in the studio. I have my guest who would help us make better sense of small habits that can make a big difference, or how to overcome common obstacles and ways to stay motivated on your path to better health. My guest on the program is a wellness practitioner and a public health expert who is Marvelous Joseph. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
In the studio this morning. Thank you for coming. Now, when we talk about healthy living, I want you to, when we just say healthy living, what comes to mind is, stay off germs, live healthy, eat fruits. Is there more to it? Can you help us make better sense of what living healthy means?
Yes, living healthy really connotes quite a lot. It starts from the spiritual, really, because a lot of time people just think that it's about, there are persons that are actually very, very sanitization conscious. They are very medically conscious. They know when to go for their checkups. They know when to do all those things. But when it comes to health, it really starts from the spiritual. Okay. Yeah, it starts from you having to, surrender it all to God, letting God know that you're really, really interested in Him taking over your health. Okay. Because that way, it just makes the whole journey easy. Because in as much as you want to be healthy, you want to live healthy, there are factors to consider. Now, when it comes to your health, just look at your well-being. Maybe just look at the mirror first. Maybe look at yourself as naked as you are at the mirror, and you ask yourself, what am I doing that is healthy and that's not healthy? So you can start from your hair. From the tip of your hair to the sole of your feet. What are the things, what are the decisions, what are the choices you make, what are the decisions you take secretly, publicly, when you find yourself in a social setting? What do you do? What are the things you expose yourself to? So I'm going to be starting from the spirituality aspect, which is, I've actually mentioned that, really having to tender that to God. Then you need to also take very much responsibility, the ingredients. I tell people that oftentimes, the ingredients that go into your food, the ingredients that go into your hair, the ingredients that go into your skin, your mouth, just everything, even what you wear, even as simple as the places you find yourself, the environment you find yourself, how healthy the air is. Sometimes so let me just start from the hair. Okay. Yeah, so when it comes to the hair, it's very essential that we put into consideration the ingredients that the product we're using on our hair really is. Sometimes we get to use products just off the shelf and we don't really know what ingredients were used for the production of that product. So there are chemicals. I actually studied public health, so there are chemicals that people expose themselves to. Yes, it might not give you any health challenge at the time. Maybe you say using a particular product. Let's say, for instance, a product is called what do I call? Maybe like a pencil. Let me just use a product name. A product name is pencil. So you're using this product name, use this product, and you haven't bothered to check what the ingredient label is really all about. Is it healthy? Is it natural? What are the sources? Where did they get the ingredients that they use for production of that product? So the same thing applies to our skin. It applies to the food we eat, the water we drink. Not all bottled waters are clean. Not all bottled waters should be drunk, really, because there are some that there are no meticulous. They just produce it as far as it's coming from a running tap. They bottle it and they label it, and it's a product already. So you need to be very, very particular with. That doesn't mean you should be stringent and not live a free lifestyle, but really, if you really care about your health, once you've tendered it to God, you should be careful about what goes into the products that you're using. Even the toothpaste, even the hair products, the skincare products, just everything in between.
You know, when you say everything like this, it looks like a whole lot. You know, how we can. I know that they're important. Maybe start looking at the products that we use. Toothpaste, for example, I want to use a toothpaste. I have to go through all of these. Go through, you know, how careful can one be?
Yes, how careful can one be? That's why I thought not to really go into the whole NGO thing immediately. Because when I did my public health, I thought to myself, there's really no point having to go tell people, stay out of this, do this, do this. How about creating an alternative? There are healthier alternatives to these things. So that's why we have, I actually established a brand in 2015 because I finished my master's in 2014. So I thought to myself, there was really an essentiality to have this alternatives for people. So from skincare products to hair care products to even choice snacks, food, you know, those things really help. So these healthier alternatives, if you can get from a trusted provider, that way you don't get to bother your head, oh, what is really, because it can be quite happening when you have to buy a product and you want to eat immediately and you're like, okay, let's say for instance, a restaurant out there, you don't know the ingredients that they use. So as simple as MSG, some people just, as simple as any seasoning cube, you don't just use anything that way. You have to be very particular, making sure that the ingredients that they're using for whatever it is that they're projecting to you is already healthy. So the solution to that thing is, the solution to what you just asked is having to ensure that you have trusted providers. So as simple as toothpaste, as simple as hair products you use, as simple as skincare products, you should have trusted providers that you know that, okay, once I'm buying from this brand, I know that these people are health conscious. They're not just about the beauty. They're not just about the flavor or the money as well, as you've just mentioned. You know, they really care about my health. So, and these healthy products, they are also they are also backed by science as well. So, you know that whatever it is you're putting into your skin, your hair, is safe for you. You understand? So.
Well, that's great to know. But now let's go back to the very basics.
Okay.
Talking about personal hygiene.
Yeah.
You know, some people still don't even know about how much they need to be hygiene conscious. I mean, the things that are within their household. You made mention of air, even down to the air that we breathe. I personally have a cold and, you know, cough. And I want to understand what are the things that I need to do, say regular exercise, how I need to protect, sanitize my space, how often do I get in contact with germs, those, you know, those first, I want to believe they are the basics from me and within my environment. How do I need to, you know, go about these things to sustain a healthy lifestyle before we now talk about products that we consume? Okay.
So when you talk about his space, I usually tell my husband, he's into interior. I always tell him, you have to be very health conscious. You don't just think about painting a space, putting the whole interior and just putting the tables and those gigantic things. How health conscious is that space? Is the air clean? Is it clean enough? Yes, there are good fragrances, but there are healthy fragrances and there are toxic fragrances. There are fragrances you can put in your house just so that, you know, it cleanses off your air, but what it does is to affect your health. It affects your both the gut system and the rest of it, your organs and the rest of it. So it's very essential. That's why I started with products, because the end, what people use, just normal day-to-day living. If you realize, by the time you start your day, you're starting from a toothpaste, you're starting from the body wash you're using or the soap you're using. They're all products. So those are personal hygiene procedures. So when those personal hygiene procedures are not looked after, before you know what's happening, it comes into your space. So like I mentioned, the fragrance you use, the air freshener you're using in your space, or even the paint as well. Some paints are not healthy. So like you said, it's a new space, and maybe you came into that place, dust and the rest of it. So at the time you're coming in, it's also essential that you get to wear a nose mask. That way, it just protects your nostrils from the dust and the rest of it, you understand? So that way, you know that you're putting those things into consideration. You don't just start cleaning and also, even people also react to detergents as well, you understand? So we need to really, that's why I mentioned that product first, because those are the end products. Those are the end user needs that people usually use on a daily basis, and before you know what's happening, it's trickling into your health, it's trickling into your choices, it's trickling into the things you do on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, so like I said, like you mentioned air, so it's always important as well to cleanse your air, allow fresh air to come in.
Ventilate.
Yeah, ventilate the space, allow fresh air to come in, but also make sure that you're living in an environment that is also clean. Like in Nigeria right now, the air is not clean. Like even having to walk into your estate most times, as simple as coming from work and you're just walking into your estate, they leave the road messed up. In as much as we have a lot of trucks that are carrying, even the bins. Like I was telling somebody the other day that you're in a tricycle and you're shuttling to work or you're shuttling to somewhere else, and and maybe we're on traffic, and there's a bin truck just by the side. You're already feeling infested. It's already very. So I usually tell people, how about these trucks get covered? Instead of leaving them exposed in the thin air. Yes, we know that this is your business and you're trying to let people know that this is what you're doing, but it's also essential that the air is being protected. Air is being considered. People are walking on the road, people are driving, and people sometimes can be stuck in traffic. It doesn't make sense that I'm in a tricycle or I'm in a taxi or in a bike or whatever means of transportation I'm using, and just because I'm on traffic and I get to endanger my health because the truck guy also is stuck in traffic. So those things are really, I don't know if there's a ministry, there's some like an organization that watches over that, but really it needs to be put into consideration, because right now they are beginning to infest the whole place. Sincerely, they are really beginning to infest the whole place. So as simple as the air, even in the roads, even in the environment, the estates, they need to be considered. Even the bins we have in our houses, you shouldn't just have your bin in a bucket. Your bin should be there should be a line in the inside of that bucket, like a nylon bin, something like that. And it should be frequently tied. No matter how you say, Nigerians will be like, nobody use them, it's my debt, it's my bin. But it's your bin, that's why it's a refuse bin. It's a refuse bin. So it should be like frequently covered, you understand? So people just feel that because it's their space, anything goes, but it's not anything goes. Your health really matters.
So we should take responsibility.
Yes.
Many thanks. We have to take a quick break now. Thank you for helping us make better sense of our environment. After this break, we'll look at healthy food choices for our lifestyle just after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you've just joined us, this is Health Guide on Global Television, your hub for topical discussion on health matters. And before the break, we have been speaking with Marvelous Joseph, who is a public health expert who has been helping us make better sense of healthy living. Before the break, we were talking about the air and how we have to take responsibility for our environment and all of that. But I want us to look at healthy lifestyles in terms of the food that we take. How important is it, and what are those foods that we need to eat, or those things, whether veggies or fruits, that we need to inculcate in our meal prep to enable us maybe get required nutrients or live healthy or help our digestions and all of that.
And when it comes to food, what makes up a food is the ingredients. Let's say, for instance, you want to eat egusi soup or you want to eat jollof rice. What makes up a plate of jollof rice is a compilation of ingredients. So if you're concerned about your health, you really want to have a health-conscious lifestyle, and you really care and value your health so much, not when a person they find themselves at the hospital or at the pharmacy, they now start taking serious cognizance. You have to look at the ingredients. What ingredients are going into this jollof rice I want to eat or I want to buy from this restaurant? And no matter how amazing a restaurant is, the ingredients really matter. People are going to 5-star restaurants, not that they are bad, they're amazing to attend, but really to go to, but it's really essential to know, are these ingredients healthy? You know, so for instance, a lot of persons now know that using seasoning cubes, the popular ones out there, they're no longer healthy. So people are now alternating that for the likes of Iru and the rest of it. You know, so when you think about food, think about your ingredients. Don't just say, these people, they know how to cook food, they know how to cook jollof rice, or they know how to cook egusi soup. How healthy are their ingredients? Mm. So, and the safety measures, how conscious are they when it comes to cooking that food? Do they cover their hair? Are their nails clean? Do they cover their mouths? Are they cooking and they're talking over the food? You know, what's the food presentation like? Do they serve the food open from the kitchen to where I'm seated and it's just open? Even the kitchen they're cooking, how healthy? Have you ever visited the kitchen to know how healthy or how safe the space is really? So those things really matter. Even down to, let me just even go, because it's an end user that might be watching us right now. Down to your kitchen as you're eating, as you're cooking your food. How healthy is your environment? Do you understand? Because those things really matter at the end of the day. You don't just eat anything that's available out there, or you don't just make up anything. Just think about your health, your well-being. How useful you are to your generation, to your siblings, your parents. So, because when you start putting those things into consideration and knowing that you have a purpose on earth and you can't just expose yourself to just anything out there, anything available, you start taking serious decisions, from your ingredients to your ingredient choices to your food processing. Even sometimes people go as far as buying healthy ingredients, but they kill it while cooking it.
How is that so?
So for instance, I want to eat vegetable soup. I've gone ahead to make sure that my ingredients are safe and they're healthy. Now, the cooking time can be longer. Sometimes cooking time can be short. But, you know, when it comes to you having to eat a healthy meal, you have to ensure that your cooking time is not so long. You know, in Africa, we have the mentality that if I'm cooking soup, it has to stay so time. But the essentiality of you having to, I think why our mothers did that is just because they were trying to kill germs. So, but if you can start from washing your vegetable clean, washing your onion, washing your ginger and garlic, washing it under a running water, and with maybe ACV, apple cider vinegar, and the rest of it, you know, that way you know that you're not cooking germs at the end of the day. Your tomato is clean. And also ensuring that the ingredients you're buying from the market, do you know at some point I stopped buying food ingredients from the market, like
really?
From all these
roadside
yes,
market.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Because they are not health conscious. It's not because I'm trying to deprive them from sales, but in as much as I care so much about them and I want to be a blessing to them and their business, I also care so much about my health. So I go as far as buying from a supermarket, a place where I know that where they are doing the food present. I know that some persons will say they buy from the markets, those supermarket people, but the thing is, they are health conscious as well. And at the end of the day, they try as much as possible to do clean packaging. You know, for instance, some malls here in Abuja, they have their processes of packaging. For instance, tomato. I want to buy a pack of tomatoes. So they would have gone through the washing and the rest. They try as much as possible to know that their end users are not just any kind of person that wants to eat food. So there are people that consider their health so much. So they don't buy from people, just roadside vendors, people that sell at the gutter. What sense does it make you're on your Jeep? I see people, they're on their Jeep and they're stopping by to buy corn from a woman that is just at the gutter side. Why? Can't you buy that corn, take it to your house and roast it on the grill? That's even more safer, because that corn that you're buying, people have touched that corn. Flies have perched on that corn. Insects and all manner. Yes, it's going through fire, but how much can fire do for the 5 minutes it's being roasted? Do you understand? So we need to take, it's going to make you strict. It's going to even make you quite uncomfortable. Like sometimes when there are seasonal foods, in as much as I like to eat granuts, I don't just buy granuts from people, roadside people selling, sorry. I can buy that granite from a supermarket, take it home, wash it, and cook it myself with salt and the rest of it. Reason because the people who are cooking that granite you're buying on the road, the water they use in boiling that granite is not. Yeah, it gets into
but
it.
When you boil it, when it gets into the fire and the water gets hot, before your granite gets ready.
You know how I discovered this? Yes, when we are exposed to this kind of lifestyle, anything goes kind of lifestyle, we don't get to feel the end goal. But when you start living a health conscious life and you just say, okay, let me just be free, let me just try this thing, or I'm traveling, I say, okay, let me try. You see that your teeth might get infected. Yeah, I've experienced it because our bodies are so sensitive and they get they absorb what we expose them to for over a certain period of time. So when you start eating things that are healthy, your body will be like, but you'll be telling yourself, but I used to eat things from the roadside before, so what happened? What changed? Is it because it's not because of wealth or because it's just because your body now know better. So when you start introducing germs back into it, will react. So that's why people start having ill health conditions, you understand? So for instance, as simple as cough and catarrh, if you stay close to somebody that's infected already, the person can infect them. So it doesn't matter, even when you stay in the space that they are in, and you're trying to be quite health conscious, by the time you expose yourself for so long, you see that you start getting but initially you will not feel anything, you understand? So let me go back to that food thing we were talking about. It's very essential, from ingredients to the cooking process to where you even buy your ingredients. Those things matter. So you don't just buy from anybody. So if you are going to be feeling bad, also how am I going to keep doing welfare to people? There are organizations you can carry out your welfare practices. They have, proper welfare systems. So if these people have chosen over time, sometimes I see people, they are buying vegetable, a bulk, like a food truck of vegetable. And trust me, this vegetable is not the vegetable is just inside the truck like that. And this truck is dirty. I can't remember when last it was clean, because of course those people, they don't even care about those things. So some people even go as far as buying vegetables and cutting it in the market from a woman who hasn't washed her hand. That same hand she's using to count money is the same hand she's using to cut vegetable for you. So those things really matter. You have to watch the processes.
Oh, very well. I wish we can extend this conversation, but time would not. This is how much time will permit us to take. I wanted us to look at, skin, supplements, and, and all of that. But I guess that you grant us that opportunity to come speak to us some more about healthy living and a healthy lifestyle. Thank you very much. Well, that's how much we can take on the program. Many thanks to Marvelous Joseph, who is a public health expert, helping us make better sense of better living. Well, don't forget to follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. Until next time, I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.